Hi guys, Olive here. Here today to talk about my reading and channel goals for 2022. 2021 has been a really challenging year. I think it has been for a lot of us. But even though the year had its rough moments, I'm definitely proud of a lot of the things that I've accomplished this year, and I'm trying to treat any of the not great things that happened as lessons to be learned from the year 2021. So with that in mind, I'm thinking ahead to 2022 and what I want the year to look like for myself. Specifically, when it comes to this video, I'm thinking about what I want my reading and what I want this Booktube channel to look like in the new year. Thinking about my goals for 2022, I actually have more channel goals than I do goals for my reading. So let's start off talking about my reading goals before I talk to you about what I want this channel to look like in 2022. So when it comes to my reading, basically what I want to do is stay the course. I am really happy with where I'm at. I am averaging over 100 books per year, and I'm really good with that. I read a lot more than 100 in 2020 because that was kind of an anomaly of a year. Really all there was to do was read, but I'm also going to get close to 150 again this year. So what I'm going to do, just like I did last year, I talked about this in my 2021 reading goals, I'm going to set my Goodreads reading goal for 100. Anything over that will just be a bonus, but I don't feel the need to continue pushing myself to read more and more every year. I think where I'm at is good. I'm having a hard time imagining where I would fit in extra reading. I think I'm at about the max level right now, so I'm just going to keep things how they are. I'm also pretty happy with where I'm at with fiction and nonfiction. Right now, the ratio is that I'm reading about 60% nonfiction and about 40% fiction. And I think if left to my own devices, I would read more like 75% nonfiction to 25% fiction. But I'm actually really glad there are things in my life right now that keep things more even, more level. Like I have my Wishbone series. I have classic books that I want to read, which are very tied in with the Wishbone series. And I also write about fiction books for my written venues. So I'm glad I have those things in place to keep me motivated to read fiction, to keep me in the habit of reading fiction. I don't want to cut out fiction, but I know I lean toward nonfiction. So it's really good that I have those natural controls in place. And speaking of the classics, I really want to get back on track with my classics reading in 2022. I got so distracted by new releases in 2021 that I basically forgot that I had a list of classics I was looking to work through. I always make a list of classic books that I would like to read in the next year. I make a whole video about it at the end of each year. And I did read some books off of my 2021 list, but most of them just got forgotten, mainly in favor of new releases. But I miss reading the classics. I don't feel like I have to read them, but I want to read them. I love enjoying those books, and then I love making content about the books that I read, all the discussions and deep dives. I know you all really like those types of videos, and I really like making them. So I want to refocus on the classics. So I will be making a list of classic books that I want to read in 2022. That video will be coming out later this month, and I hope to pay better attention to it next year. Something else that suffered as a consequence of my laser focus on new releases in 2021 were these bookshelves behind me. I feel like I read next to nothing off of my bookshelves throughout the course of this year, December being the exception, because I realized that it was a problem and started to incorporate more books that I owned onto my TBR. But I have been so focused on reading new releases, mainly on ebook, either as ARCs or through my library, that I've really been neglecting the books on my shelves. And yet, I am still continuing to acquire a very good number of physical books. I'm going to used bookstores and library book sales again, and so I'm continuing to buy books, and even though I got rid of a staggering number of fiction books to make more room on these shelves behind me through my Trash My Bookshelves project that you all helped me with this year, I am already running out of room. It is a very serious problem, so I've got to start reading some books off of these shelves again. And that's not too big of an ask for me because I'm excited excited about all of these books, especially after the Trash My Bookshelves project. I'm actually excited about all of the fiction books that I own. I obviously love all of my nonfiction books. So generally, I just want to find a better balance between reading the backlist and reading the front list. I love reading from the backlist. I just got a little bit overly excited about the front list in 2021. So those are the things I had in mind for my reading next year. Pretty simple, straightforward, achievable, I hope. But the things I want to do on this channel are slightly more ambitious, not overwhelmingly so, but I definitely have a lot of ideas of what I want to do, mainly because of your responses to the survey that I put up on this channel a few months ago, which is now closed. I got an overwhelming number of responses. It was so wonderful to hear from all of you and hear what you like about this channel, what you'd like to see more of. It was so helpful for me as I was sitting down thinking about the things I want to do for next year. I definitely took all of your responses into account. I was really pleasantly surprised to learn that you all really like when I have a more long-term project going on here on the channel. The response to that Trash My Bookshelves project was so incredible. I never suspected that anyone would enjoy following along with a project like that, but you all loved it and I had a great time doing it. So I definitely want something like that for 2022. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do yet. Someone suggested that I do the same process for my nonfiction books, but the problem is that I really like all of my nonfiction books. I wouldn't want to get rid of any of them. So that probably wouldn't be the best thing for me to do. I do sort of have an idea of what I might like to do, but I'm not 100% sold on it yet. And I'm going to continue to think about it. I want to make sure that it's something that I really want to do, that I think you all will really like. But even if I don't end up launching it right as the new year begins, it might be more toward the middle of the year like the Trash My Bookshelves project was. Regardless, I'm going to try to think of something. A large number of you requested book recommendations videos, like a themed list of book recommendations. And I've made some of those types of videos in the past. I've wanted to make a lot more than I've actually made because I have this thing in my head that tells me that I can't make one of those videos until I've read every single book on earth that deals with that topic or is within that subgenre. And that's just not true. And it's just one of my many unreasonable expectations of myself. So I'm going to stop doing that. And I'm actually going to make some of those videos that I want to make, that I've been planning on making for a really long time, that I know will be really valuable for you, that you will really enjoy. I want to make them. You want to watch them. I should probably just go ahead and make those types of videos. Kind of along those same lines, I also want to do some author spotlights next year. And in case you've never seen one of those types of videos, basically what the booktuber making the video does is talk about the specific author in question, give some background information on them, and then talk about all of the books that they have written up to that point. Give some information about them, recommend which ones are better, talk about maybe where a person should start if they want to get into reading that author, that kind of thing. I think I've only done one of those types of videos in the past. I was talking about Robert K. Massey, my beloved Robert K. Massey, who unfortunately passed away. And I have some other authors I've considered doing that with. It's always been a little bit difficult for me because I'm not the type of person to fall in love with an author and then read all of their books because I can't get enough of them. Like, I like variety in my reading. So I've been working my way through a lot of authors. I'm not entirely sure who I would focus on in 2022. If you have any specific requests of authors you would like to see me talk about, please let me know. I will definitely consider that. So not entirely sure which authors I'm going to pick, but I want to do at least maybe 2 or 3 of those next year. In the survey results, and also just kind of in general, I've gotten a lot of good feedback on my 2 books on videos, which are videos I do where I review 2 different books that have something to do with one another. So most of the time they deal with the same topic, but like during Nonfiction November, I reviewed 2 books that had the same title. That was really fun. And a lot of you say you really, really like those. You like them potentially even more than the single dedicated book reviews. It also gives me the chance to compare the 2 books and talk about which one I recommend over the other, or if I like both of them equally. It's just a really good format. I had done it before, but I kind of stumbled into making it a series this year, and I'm going to continue going down that path because you should see the list of ideas I have going in a Google Doc for that style of video. Like, I just keep thinking of more ideas. And because I have all of these ideas and I'm really excited about those types of videos, I'm definitely going to make more of them next year. But that doesn't mean that I'm done doing the in-depth single book review videos. I love making those. I'm definitely still going to do them. I'm just going to make sure that the book that I'm covering in such a video is a book that I have strong feelings about. There have been so many books over the past year that I've considered making an entire review video of for this channel. And then I have really lukewarm feelings and I don't have much to say about it. And I don't want to put in however many hours these videos take just to talk about a book that I feel kind of meh about. I don't think it would be particularly fun for me, and I don't think it would be then very fun to watch because I don't feel very strongly about it. So I'm going to do the single book reviews, but only in the cases where I feel like I have a lot to say. And kind of as a side note, for those books that I don't have a ton of opinions on, I've been toying with the idea of making mini reviews of those types of books, but for my Instagram, like a 1-minute video in which I talk about the book, I give you all the details, and then I talk about whether or not I recommend it. All of that information in a 1-minute video on my Instagram. I know I'm capable of doing that because for a while I was making these 30-second book reviews for this startup news app, which has since completely rebranded. I don't have that job anymore, but it was great practice. I know I'm capable of making those types of videos, but I'm not sure if you would be interested in them. Let me know. And then, of course, next year, I also want to continue making creative, out-of-the-box, innovative types of content. I can't say exactly what those would be because inspiration hasn't struck for one of those types of videos, but I love doing things that are different. I love things that really challenge me. And I found that those types of videos end up becoming my favorite videos on my channel and yours. Like, I got so much feedback on that My Literary Dinner Party video I did at the start of this year. A lot of you said that that's your favorite video you've seen on my channel. I know my friend Amanda, who I work with at North Avenue Candles, loves that video. She thought it was so charming. It was so much work to make. I mean, I literally made a 3-course meal in order to make that video, but I loved it. Like, I pour my heart into those types of videos. So I can't say exactly what they'll look like next year, but I definitely want to make those types of things because they keep me excited about my channel. I know you really love them. And yeah, I like to push the boundaries on what a Booktube channel can be. And the last change I'll be making to this channel in 2022 that was at least partially inspired by your feedback on the survey and elsewhere is that I'm going to be bringing back wrap-ups and TBRs. I really went back and forth on this decision because it's been really nice having a break. I was feeling some burnout when it comes to the wrap-ups and TBRs because I did them consistently for 6 years straight. And they do add a layer of complexity because of my written reviews, and they do definitely add some pressure. You want to make sure that you're focusing on the books that you've included in a TBR. So it's been really nice having a break, but honestly, I miss doing them. I know you all miss watching them. I heard a lot of that coming from you, especially in the survey. Having a year off from them really helped me realize how much I liked making them because I missed them. I actively felt their absence in my life. So I do want to go back to making them, but I can't promise they're going to be 100% the way they were before I took my break. Like, I'm not sure I'm going to be talking about every single book I read. I definitely don't miss that aspect of it because, like I was just talking about before, I don't have strong opinions on every single book I read. So I need to figure out how I'm going to handle that. And I also need to figure out how I'm going to handle the whole written review element element, especially because I hope to have more written review venues in the new year. So I'm going to have to figure that out, and I've just decided, instead of having a really solid idea of how I'm going to do that going in, I'm going to figure it out as I go along. And I still think they're going to be really enjoyable to watch. It's me doing mini reviews of books. It's going to be the same as it always was in that regard. I'm just probably going to need to play with the format, but I've missed them. I've heard from you that you've missed them, so they're coming back. Other things I plan on doing in the new year, I definitely want a new channel trailer. The one that's currently on my homepage, my current one, I made that back in 2017. And so much about my life is different now. I was living in a different place back in 2017. I had a different hair color back in 2017. If anyone watches that trailer and then comes and watches my current content in this current season, I suspect that contrast is a little bit stark. And there's so much I didn't mention in that trailer because it just wasn't a part of my life at that point. So bringing that up to date at some point next year will be a priority for me. Something else I really want to bring up to date is my bookshelf tour. The last bookshelf tour I did was back in 2016, so even older than my current channel trailer. And my collection has changed a lot in that span of time. The only thing that stayed the same is my collection of Russia books, so I don't think I will update that part of it, but my fiction collection obviously looks a lot different, especially after the Trash My Bookshelves project. I have so many more nonfiction books. I have a whole collection of bird books. I have so many more classics. I definitely need to make my bookshelf tour current, and I'm really excited to show you all the books that live on these shelves. And then the last real thing I can think of is that I definitely want to refocus on Nonfiction November in 2022, which will be our 8th year. That's really wild to think that we are that close to a decade of Nonfiction November. We'll have to do something really special for year 10. But even in year 8, I want to be more involved in the event. I spent all this time planning for 2021, and then because of everything that happened to me personally and in other ways in 2021, the month just kind of slipped through my fingers, and I really didn't like that. I'm very grateful that it's such a self-directed event, and it doesn't need my really active participation to keep running, but I definitely felt the absence of that in my life this year. I definitely need more help next year, so I'm going to have to make some changes in order to be able to do everything I want to do for it, but whatever I need to do, I'm going to do because I love the event and I want to be more of an active presence. So those are the goals that I have set for myself when it comes to my reading and this channel next year, but I do want to say that I am approaching these goals with a greater level of flexibility than I ever have before. I have every intention right now of trying to achieve all of the goals that I've just talked about, but I also know that it's important to approach the new year with a level of elasticity because you never know what the year is going to have in store. And I am very thankful and very grateful that this channel continues to present me with new opportunities that I never thought possible, and other things in my life are constantly changing and I get new things that I could take on. And I never want to become so married to a goal list that I set before I even know what the year is going to be like that I wouldn't then pursue some of those opportunities. So I'm going to try my hardest to get to these goals, but if they need to change, if I need to throw any of them out because it's just not the type of year 2022 is, then I'm going to do that. But please let me know what you think about these goals. Let me know what you're excited to see on this channel next year. If you have any video suggestions, any videos you would like to see me make, don't hesitate to let me know. I keep an ongoing list of video ideas that I'm always happy to add to. You can let me know that or anything else down in the comment section below. And if you would like to keep up with what I'm reading and writing about right now, you can find me on a variety of places around the internets, including Goodreads and Instagram, where I'm the most active. The links to everywhere you can find me will be at the bottom of the description box below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.